Welcome everyone, I'm Dr. Sam Spinelli with Citizen Athletics, and today we're going to go through a full body home workout that requires no equipment other than common household items. This workout is actually day one of our level 2 home muscle building program that we recently released. This program was designed to take home workouts to the next level and help you actually be able to build muscle at home. If you'd like to know more about it, we'll put links in the description box below that you can check out. So let's get into the workout. We're going to start off the workout with a lower body based movement called a rear foot elevated split squat. To do this, we'll need something that we'll be able to put our foot on. A couch or chair will work great. You're looking for something that is roughly the height of the bottom of your knee or lower. You can start off by standing with both legs against it and then taking a long step forward. From here, we'll take one leg, place our foot behind us on the couch or the chair. This is our starting setup. We're going to bend our front knee, going down as far as we feel comfortable, and then pausing for a moment. By pausing, we keep tension on our muscles and make them work a bit harder in this lengthened position. After the pause, we'll stand back up, but keep our leg behind us. We'll go through this movement for 8 total reps now. After you've done a few reps, you can adjust your length and width to find what feels best for you. By having that leg behind us elevated, it puts more emphasis on the lead leg. As you adjust your length, you might find that you're more comfortable with a little bit longer stance, which is really common for people that want a more vertical shin and a bit more challenge to their glutes. In contrast, you might find that a shorter stance feels better and it'll put more emphasis on your quads. Once you've done 8 reps, we'll switch over to the other side. You might notice that one side feels easier than the other, and that's totally normal. If you find yourself struggling with balance, a few things you can try are either widening up your stance by having your rear leg out to the side more, or holding on to something. This isn't a balance-based exercise, so there's definitely a benefit if you can improve some balance, but we don't want our balance to limit us either. For those who find this movement too challenging, you can take your rear leg off of the elevation and just go to a regular split squat. For those who don't find this movement challenging enough, you can actually try adding weight with something like a backpack or holding onto some milk jugs. Alternatively, you could go to a deficit by standing on something like a book that will raise your front foot up by an inch or two. You can also combine these two options by going to a deficit and adding weight. Now, once you've done 8 reps on each side, we're gonna rest. This is a critical thing and something that really differentiates the program that we made from most other home programs. If we want to build muscle, we need to make our movements challenging enough that it stimulates muscle growth. This means getting into challenging reps that some might call effective reps, where we're getting close to failure or even failing. When we get into these more challenging reps, having rest is going to be a necessity. Otherwise, you won't be able to have a good performance. We've seen the literature demonstrate that getting into this challenging zone where you need rest will actually encourage more hypertrophy. If you did get into legitimately challenging reps, you're going to need good rest to be able to recover and repeat that performance. If you don't feel like you were challenged enough during that set to actually need to rest for about 1 to 2 minutes as a minimum, then we need to find strategies to do so. This can mean adding weight like we discussed, increasing the deficit, changing the time under tension, or utilizing a more advanced method. This is where the home muscle building program that we made comes in really handy. We laid out different levels so that if you're a stronger person, you can go to one of the higher options and you'll still be sufficiently challenged so that you can get hypertrophy. In this workout, you're supposed to do this exercise for 4 total sets before moving on. So if you'd like to pause here and go through 3 additional sets, feel free to do so. You could alternatively play back and have the coaching cues again. For everyone else that's ready to move on, let's keep going. The next movement that we're going to do is the Pike Pushup. This is a great movement to target the entire upper body pressing musculature. To do it, we're going to set up in a normal push-up position, but then we're going to pike our hips up high. By doing so, we can get into a more vertical angle for pressing and challenge our shoulders more. We're going to do 8 reps here, so let's crush them. Focus on trying to bring your forehead to the floor between your fingertips. As you do this, you're going to keep your hips high. When you press back up, think to push your shoulders back towards your feet and not just do a normal push-up. That'll help to keep your shoulders more involved and not just do a tricep movement going up and down through the elbows. This is set up similar to the last movement, where once we finish the set, we're gonna rest and then repeat. If that set wasn't challenging enough, then there's a few things that you can try. Going to a deficit where we place our hands on some objects like books to increase the range of motion is a great option. We can also elevate our feet to put more weight through our hands. Or finally, you can do both. This is a very challenging variation to do well. This is meant to be done for 3 sets of 8, so if you want to pause here and go through the 2 additional sets, or repeat over for the cues, feel free to do so. Otherwise, let's keep on moving. Our next movement is the sliding leg curl. To do this, we're going to be laying on our back and we'll need something that's going to allow our feet to slide on the surface we're on. Furniture sliders are a great option if you have them. If not, don't worry, we have a few other options. If you're on carpet, you can try a paper plate or a Tupperware lid. If you're on tile or hardwood, you can utilize a towel, your socks, or one of the options that we just mentioned. We'll put these under our heels and then get into a bridge position. From here, we'll let our legs extend out, and then we'll pull them back in once they get straight. We're going to do this for 8 reps. Now, if you find that this is too hard, you can just limit how far you straighten your legs. If you find that this is too easy, try keeping your hips higher. This will make your hamstrings work hard to function as both knee flexors and hip extenders. If that's still not hard enough, try out the single leg option and it will light your hammies up. After you finish up 8 reps per side, then we're going to rest. This is going to be done for 3 sets as well, so if you want to pause or play back the video, feel free to do so. Otherwise, let's keep moving. Our next exercise hits up our back, checking off the last major muscle group that we haven't hit. This is going to be the prone towel pull down. We can do this 2 ways, either the sliding option or the hover option. The preferred option is the sliding option as it is a bit more challenging. However, if you don't have a way to be able to slide on the ground, then you can go through the hover version. For the sliding option, we'll take a towel or bed sheet and we'll lay face down on it. We want it underneath our torso. Then we'll put our hands above our head and grip the ground and pull down hard. This is a good way to get in some vertical pulling. This is a concentric only exercise, which is a downside in one way. However, we are able to still challenge our back to a high degree with it. You can do the sliding option in 2 ways. Either the first way, where once you pull, you can push back and restart, or you can pull, reach above you, and then pull again. The second one requires more space, but it's a good option so that you don't have to repetitively push back. If you keep your knees bent, it's a bit easier, whereas if we straighten our legs and let our toes drag, it's going to be a bit harder. Now, if you can't do this, we can try the hover option. We'll set up the same, except instead of laying on a towel, we'll hold it in our hands above our head. From here, we'll focus on pulling apart the towel and then pull down. This will replicate a similar action as a normal lat pull down, and it's a viable option to still train your upper back and lats. It's not quite as challenging, but it's still a good option to be able to at least get some stimulus. For those who want a more challenging option to strengthen their back, check out the home muscle building program that we made, as it has lots of options to challenge your back to a high degree. Once you're done 8 reps, we're going to rest and then repeat for 3 total sets. If you'd like to pause and play this back, you can definitely feel free to do so. For everyone else, we're going to move on and get into a superset. How this will work is that we're going to do 2 movements, performing 1 set of 1, resting briefly, performing the second movement, and then resting briefly again, and starting over with the first movement. The first movement in this superset is going to be the single leg glute bridge. To do this, we're going to set up in a bridge position and then tuck one knee into our chest. From here, we'll raise our hips up and squeeze our glute. We want to get all the way up and then return back down, really emphasizing getting that hip extended. This is going to be for 8 reps, so pump them out and then switch sides. For some people, this will be a challenging enough exercise. For others, they might find that this is too easy, and we can do a few things to increase the demand. The first option, putting something on our lap to increase the weight. You can try out a backpack or some textbooks, something to increase the weight on your lap. Alternatively, we can go to the single leg hip thrust, where we elevate our shoulders, and this will change the range of motion and also the vector that's challenging the muscles. Now, after you've done each side, we're going to transition and get into our second exercise, which is going to be the reverse crunch with pike. This is a good movement to strengthen the rectus abdominis and the external obliques. To do this, we need to find something sturdy that we can hold onto and that won't move. A couch or a table leg or the bottom of a door will work. We'll lay on our back, holding on to that, and then from here, tuck our knees to our chest. Once your legs are tucked, we're going to drive them to the roof and do a pike. Then we're going to lower back down to the ground nice and slow. As you come back down, we want to limit our legs from going out too far and emphasize controlling the motion and not letting our back arch. If you find that this is too hard, you don't need to do the pike and you can just do a reverse crunch. In contrast, if you find that this is too easy, as you pike up, you can try and keep your legs up higher and lower out, and this will be a modified version of a dragon flag. Once you've done 8 reps, it's time to rest, and then we're going to repeat the single leg glute bridge and the reverse crunch with pike one more time. If you want to pause or play back as you do that, definitely feel free. Otherwise, we're going to move on and get into our second superset. These will be the last 2 movements of the day. The first one is the single leg calf raise with eccentric focus, and the second one is the rotating curl. For the calf raise, we'll be standing and ideally with our hands against the wall or on a counter to be more stable. Then we'll bend one leg and load up our other side and go through a full range of motion, raising our heel up, going up onto our toes. We want to really try to get up as high as we can and then lower down nice and slow. We'll be emphasizing the lower, trying to control it down for 3 to 4 seconds. Doing this will put a high challenge on your gastroc and soleus, making them work really hard and control that motion. We're going to do this for 8 reps on one side and then switch over to the other side. Make sure to keep your knees straight, and that way we focus on your calf and not start utilizing your thigh. For people that find this is too hard, you can go to the double leg version and still try and control the motion the same way. If you find that this is too easy, you can add a backpack for some additional load, or you can go to a deficit and increase the range of motion. Now once you've done each side, we're going to move on and get into the rotating curl. This is going to be done with some kind of weight like a water bottle, a milk jug, or a backpack. Regardless of what kind of weight you utilize, we're going to go through the same motion where we're going to have a weight in one hand, we're going to have our palm facing down to start with, and then we're going to rotate up and have our palm facing up as we finish. This will challenge our biceps to work through a range of motion of elbow flexion and forearm rotation. We're going to go through 8 reps and then switch sides. Now, if you don't have a way to load this up challenging enough for you, you can try going a little bit slower, and you can also try keeping your elbow out a little bit further. Since we have less weight, we really want to try to emphasize feeling the muscle working. So as you're going through this, try to reduce as much body motion as you can and try to maximize only moving your arm. After you've finished 8 reps, we're going to then rest and then repeat the first movement and go through that superset one more time. If you want to pause here and do that, feel free. Otherwise, we're done for the day. Good job. That's an example of a full body home muscle building program. This was level 2 in our muscle building program, so for people that found that this was too challenging, don't worry, there's a level 1, and for people that wanted more challenging options, we have a level 3 and a level 4. If you want to see more videos and workouts like this, you can check that program out. It has a total of 20 different workouts that have videos just like this that outline and take you through the whole thing. Check out the link in the description box below. For anyone who wants a home muscle building program, it's going to deliver. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe for more content from Citizen Athletics and tap that like button. We really appreciate it. See you in the next video.